What's up, guys? Got another Crowfall video for you today. I wanted to make this Templar video last weekend, but there were some pretty crazy bugs. As you can see, my Templar last weekend had no cooldowns. I was able to spam Censure, spam all of my abilities with no cooldowns whatsoever. Here you can see me spamming a million Divine Lights. It's a pretty interesting weekend last weekend, but they fixed it luckily, so here we go into the video. Hope you guys enjoy. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Templar video I was using in these team fights. Keep in mind this build is very much subject to change and likely will. Right now the Templar is very limited because we can't use maces yet. In the full game, Templars will be able to use maces and we'll have access to all of these awesome mace disciplines. But right now we can only use swords, so that kind of sucks. When Templars gain the ability to use maces, it's going to blow the doors off of everybody's Templar builds because you have access to a lot of CC, then you have access to the big boy, which is Adjudicator, which is going to give you Prosecute, which is going to... Prosecute is bananas. That's all I'll really say. That ability is nuts. Master of Maces with that stun, Grabdar's Hammer. Oh man, it's going to be nuts when Templars can use maces. So, let's take a look at the abilities I'm using. In my opinion, the Templar base kit is very good. You'll notice that 1 through 6, I am using all the Templar base abilities, and I'm only picking up an extra 2 abilities for my disciplines. Censure, very strong, good mobility. I don't know why anyone would ever give this up. You've got the stun on it as well. That's nice. Your 2 combo, your Reproach, Righteous Sweep, Righteous Smash, Radiant Sweep combo. This is... dude, this ability, even though I don't use Righteous Smash very much, Righteous Smash is very committal. It can be really, really good for pip generation, but it's risky. It's very risky in the fact that it takes a long time to do the combo, and the cost of the combo is at the start. So, you know, you start the combo up, and you're going to hit 2 people with your Righteous Smash and get a bunch of pips, right? And then you get hit with a CC mid-combo, and now you're completely pip-starved. So, I personally was not using too much of the Righteous Smash in these team fights. I don't think I actually used it at all. It's just really risky if you get hit by a CC, but it is good. I do think it is applicable in certain situations. Now, the big boy, the big daddy, Radiant Sweep. This is one of the most powerful abilities in the game, in my opinion. It is an AoE 5-second knockdown on a 9-second cooldown. That's right. I'll repeat that. AoE 5-second knockdown, 9-second cooldown. It is very telegraphed. I actually don't... I need to use this ability more. I know it's crazy that I just said that. I don't use it very much. The only downside is it is very telegraphed. So let's do the combo real quick here. 2, 2, 2. Anybody that's familiar with the Templar will kind of see it coming. If it's an enemy Templar, they parry it. If you're chasing a Druid and you try to stun them, they'll blink away. So it is pretty telegraphed, but it's still very good, particularly when you're in a giant melee cluster ball battle. It's very, very good. I need to use this ability more for sure. 3 ability, Judgment. I could potentially see people maybe taking this off of their bar. I wouldn't. I never would. I think this ability is particularly good, especially with this build, which we'll get into in a minute. We got some double dipping going on. This just hits really hard. It can hit really, really hard, especially if the enemy is below 35% health. It's a guaranteed crit, which is nice. Well, I think it's almost always guaranteed unless they're running that minor Rune Stone where they can't be crit when they're below a certain percentage. But man, it can hit really, really hard, like 1100, 1200 hits hard. So, yeah, it's very good. It is a big pip drain, but I think it's very good. Now on to a controversial ability that I love. I love this ability, but a lot of people hate it. I think that if there's anything on the Templar base kit, it's probably the 4 and the 6 that'll get removed. It's Divine Light and maybe Holy Warrior I can see people taking off. But Divine Light. So Divine Light is amazing for team fights. In the right situation, when everybody's clumped up, you put down that Divine Light, it'll give you full pips. It'll give you full pips. It'll heal the crap out of you, your team, do a pretty good amount of damage. If you've got righteousness up. It'll put up sin everywhere. Oh, I just hit my mic. Sorry about that. It'll put up sin everywhere. But the downside is that if you put it down and no one stands in it, it will rot you. It will take your pips away. You can't cancel it. You can't do anything like that. So it's kind of a high risk ability. So if you put this thing down, like watch my 1 pip here. If you put this thing down and nobody stands in it, imagine I have 5 pips. It'll just slowly take your pips away. So a lot of people don't use this ability at all. And a lot of people think that it's bad because they get into these 1v1 situations, and Crowfall is not a 1v1 game, and the Templar in particular is not a 1v1 class. So they'll put down Divine Light, and the other person will just get out of it, right? And then the Templar will just be pip-starved because his Divine Light will be over here, but he's fighting way over here, but every single tick of that Divine Light takes a pip away. So he'll generate a pip, and it'll get taken away, generate a pip, get taken away. I'll show you on the graphic here. Every time, well, I thought that graphic is not representational, but basically like every 3 or 4 seconds it ticks and takes a pip away. So people have to be standing in it for it to be valuable. So it's a bit of a high risk ability. Some people might not like it, but I really like it, especially for team fights, and that's what I build my Templar around, is team fights, so I keep it on my bar. Devotion. This is a really good ability. You pop this and it allows your allies to put up sin on targets. Yeah, it's good. It's very, very good. It also can heal the crap out of your teammates depending on how much damage you do. That does have a limit. So if you'll notice here, I get a buff called Fault Finding. I have 2 buffs. I have one called Devotion and one called Fault Finding. Devotion will stay up for the full 15 seconds. However, if you're going crazy, and really destroying the enemy team, you will lose the Fault Finding buff because there is a healing cap, but you can really heal your allies a lot with this ability. And I'll go over the tooltip here. Revealing Sin, Respited Benediction, healing group members based on the damage you inflict. So you pop this and you want to do as much damage as possible because that damage is going to be healing your team. It's healing based off the damage you do. So if you do Devotion into a big Divine Light, you can really heal your team a lot. Or if you do Devotion into a big Divine Light and your team is in that Divine Light, man, you can really pump out some crazy healing. And you'll see that in some of these team fights. So I like Devotion. Holy Warrior. So Holy Warrior in these particular team fights wasn't crazy valuable for me because I wasn't. There were some team fights where I just didn't have it. I didn't have it charged up. And this is kind of an area of contention right now on the forums and in the game is pre-charging ultimates, pre-charging abilities like Holy Warrior and Radiance. In the current iteration of the game, I could go. There's no mobs in the EK, but let's pretend this is a rock, and this rock is a mob. I could go and fight this rock and slowly build up my 6 and my C. And just leave it there. They don't decay. There's none of that. And I could just leave it there. And I've got those 2 abilities, and I can use them whenever. In these team fights, we were just doing the back-to-back-to-back-to-back. So some team fights I had, some team fights I didn't. In the full game, if nothing changes and if they allow you to pre-charge your ultimates, Holy Warrior is sick. It is sick. It sucks having to charge it up from 0 to 100 in a fight and then use it, but if you can start the fight with it and use it on the initial engage and use your Holy Warrior and your C on the engage and be able to play super aggressive at the start, it's really nice. It's going to increase your health pool ridiculously. I believe I have about 10 to 12,000 HP. I think it's like 11 or 12,000 HP that I get when I use both Holy Warrior and Radiance, which both increase your max HP. So when you can start a fight with both of those, it's great. So yeah, I like Holy Warrior. All right, now on to the disciplines, or the discipline abilities that I'm using. So, Banshee Wail. Banshee Wail is a nice snare. It can hit multiple targets, but the issue I have with Banshee Wail and why it will be getting likely replaced once Reality Warper works, I'm not saying, well, I don't know, it might get replaced. It's the range. So if you take a look at the Banshee Whale range, you know, a lot of melee are like, yeah, dude, that'd be so sick having a snare, right? But the thing is that in order to get the snare on somebody, you have to already be able to hit them with a melee skill. So it's a 5-meter range, and melee skills are also a 5-meter range. So if this was like a 15-meter range, like Alter Reality, oh man, it'd be so good. Even if it was 10 meters or 8 meters or 9 meters, just anything slightly more than 5, it would be so good. Also, it takes like a pip. You know, if you're a pip class, it's a little bit less valuable because sometimes you really need a snare to get to your target, and you're just completely starved and you don't have it and you can't use it. But if you're conservative with your pip usage, you usually have it, but just getting in range to use it can be problematic. Banshee Whale, I like it, but there's a decent chance it'll get replaced, particularly with, when things like Adjudicator come online and we can get Prosecute, or when, more importantly, Alter Reality works. Alter Reality is a skill that I'd love to be able to use, but it's currently bugged. It's either bugged or so horribly tuned that it seems like it's bugged. It doesn't seem to do anything, but the concept is you place a heal absorb shield on a target that absorbs incoming heals. If they don't heal the bubble off, it will explode and do a ton of damage and damage to those nearby. So it's like a Death Knight Necrotic Strike. Right now, seems bugged or horribly tuned. It's not worth running. I think I'm leaning more on the side of bugged, because if you look at the damage, look at the tooltip, it's like buff amount, #1, whatever. Like the tooltip, I feel like they kind of just didn't put the numbers in for this one. So, next ability I'm using, I'm kind of just using these two abilities almost by default. Haunt, this is a good ability though. Haunt 3 enemies, reflecting 35% of the damage you take and healing you for 35% of the damage you take. So it heals you for 35% of the damage they do and reflects it back at them. This is a good ability. I don't think I used it much, if at all. Not because it's bad, but because I'm bad. It does take a pip. So, yeah, but I should have definitely been using this ability more. 35% damage reflection is nice. It does have a cap. I believe the cap is about 1,000 some, if I remember reading that correctly. I read that somewhere. I don't know if that's true, but I think it has like a cap of 1,000 damage reflected and 1,000 healed. But even if that is true, that's still very good. All right, so that's all of the base abilities. I'm not running anything else crazy. Let's get into, before we get into the passives, let's get into the actual Rune Stones, because this is important. A lot of people might seriously be questioning why I am using Banshee and Reality Warper. Let me drag this down so you can see it. It's like Banshee and Reality Warper, like that's a little weird for a Templar, right? A lot of Templars, they're running Juggernaut and Standard Bearer, and those are very good. There's no getting around how good those are. And those are like more common choices, but I kind of want to explain why I like these choices. So a lot of people forget that these Rune Stones have stats on them. They give you abilities, but they also have stats on them. So take a look at the stat right there. Damage modifier, plus 0.625. Then you go over to Reality Warper. Damage modifier, plus 0.375. This adds up to 10% more damage done. We go into the stat sheet here, and let's try to find it. Holy shit, there's a lot of stats. Mitigation, final healing modifier. Okay, so damage modifier, 10%. It's an even 10%. And that is from these two Rune Stones. So I'm just doing flat 10% more damage on top of everything else. And then this Master of Swords gives me another 6% damage done to slashing. So if we go up to here, I believe, damage bonus undead, damage bonus crushing, slashing, so 6%. So a lot of my abilities are just getting, a flat 16% more damage taken, or more damage done. Not all of them. Things like Divine Light are fire damage, not slashing, but And like Banshee and Haunt are not slashing damage, but all my core damage abilities are slashing. So, you know, you add up these plus damage multipliers, they can get crazy pretty quick. So having just a nice base 10% off the get-go is nice. And then you factor in Angel of Death, 30% more damage below 30% health, and you've got the AP on Crazy Pills. That's another thing with these two Rune Stones. Their passives are so good. They are so good. So the passive for Banshee is Angel of Death, which is 30% more damage to anyone below 30% health. Now, most of the time in MMOs, I do not like running situational things like this. I don't like running abilities or talents that I can't constantly be getting value out of. I just don't like running stuff like that that's kind of situational. But in Crowfall, at least currently, a lot of people are running disciplines that they're running either character builds or disciplines that make them incredibly tanky, sub 30% health. Like Knight in particular, like they get to 30% health, they get crazy regen, whatever. People run Standard Bearer, people run, there's just a lot of stuff that makes you incredibly tanky at low health for a lot of the archetypes. And a lot of the time it's very hard to finish people off. So you factor in the 30% more damage to anybody below 30% health on top of the judgment damage, which is guaranteed critical hit for a absolute shitload of damage to anyone below 35% health. So you have a lot of finishing power with this particular setup. You have a lot of finishing power on anybody sub 30%. It's pretty nice. And you'll see that later in this video when I hit just bananas numbers on people. So that's why I like Banshee. Reality Warper, Crazy Pills, Alter Reality I think is going to be a great ability once they get it working. That's a good reason to take this too. I mean, just being able to put a bubble, like an anti-heal bubble on somebody 15 meters away, that's like it's a very unique kind of debuff. That is not like it's not going to get DR'd. It's not like a snare. Like there's not like a healing bubble DR. I don't think anything like that. So I think that's a very powerful ability once they get that working. But Crazy Pills, this is another passive I'm using. Increases attack power the lower your resource is. So, pip classes like the Duelist, the Assassin, and the Templar get a lot of value out of Crazy Pills. Templar probably gets the least value out of all the pip classes because they don't have as much volatility in their pip bar. They're not spending 5 in a row, like they're not spending 5 pips all at once and then going back to 0. But the way this works is you get more AP the lower your resource is. So let's go to the stat sheet real quick here, and you will see that I have got 320 AP. Now, I've got 1 pip, so I'm not completely... let's spend this pip here. Let's spend it. So you're going to see me go from 320 down to, I believe, 350. So I've got no pips now, and now I've got 350 AP. Now, the more resources I get, the less AP I have. So if I've got 5 pips, you know, I just got my pip back there and I lost the AP. So you get the idea. The more pips I have, the lower the AP will be. But 320 AP, right? And the way this works is that even if you have full resources, you still get a slight little AP buff. I think it's about 100 AP you get if you have full resources. So just to show you how much this gives you, let's take it off. Let's take it off here. Look, I'm gonna go from 320 down to 50. What? 50? I go from 50 320. It gives you a ton of AP, an absolute ton of AP. So Crazy Pills is absolutely crazy for pip users. For a mana user like a Confessor or let's say like a Champion, probably not as good. Champions, I know they have some stuff where they want to stay at high rage. So Crazy Pills, it's definitely good for pip users. It's very, very, very good for pip users. For anybody else, I'm not so sure. But for pip users, with how volatile your resources are, especially when it comes to the duelist and the assassin, where you just dump them all and you're at lower resources a lot of the time, it's pretty nice. And even for the Templar, Templar is kind of a feast or famine kind of class, where you've either got so many pips that you just can't spend them all, or you've got nothing. So when things aren't going your way, it's kind of nice to have just a ton of AP. You know, you can't really go wrong with that. So you'll see in this video that I'll be hitting for like, you know, I'll be completely resource starved and I'm hitting white hits for like 400 white hits non-crit with my just left click. So yeah, it's good. All right, and the last little bit here, Mortal Sin. So this is a little bit of a controversial pick. Hindsight is always 20/20. In these team fights, they kind of focused me a lot. And I might have run Faith instead of Mortal Sin if I would have known they were going to focus me as much as they were. But, you know, it's hindsight 20/20. The reason I like Mortal Sin is because I get value out of it regardless of how things go down. If they completely ignore me, I'm getting a ton of value out of Mortal Sin. If they focus me, still getting a lot of value out of Mortal Sin. And it's good. It's very, very good. Having 10% more crit is great, and that is a buff that everyone benefits from. It's just a debuff that gets put on the target, and when you pop Devotion and you're putting up Mortal Sin, and you've got a Confessor, and you've got everybody on point hitting the same target or hitting multiple targets, and there's AoEs going off, or you pop Mortal or you pop Devotion and put down a Divine Light, everybody's got it. It's nice. It's really, really nice. And a lot of classes have a ton of critical hit modifiers, or critical hit damage modifiers. So critting more often is a very big deal. So the Templar doesn't have crazy ways to get your critical damage multiplier up, but even here on an undergeared, like essentially naked character, I've got 121%, you know, crit damage multiplier. So when I crit, it's 121% harder than if I didn't. So, you know, I think people like the Champion, and oh man, it's crazy. So it's very, very good in my opinion. So yeah, but also Faith is good. Out of these, yeah, I'm not gonna get into it too much, but I like Mortal Sin. Moving on, I think that's about it. I think that's all I want to cover for my character. Yeah, Righteous Parry. Use that shit a lot. It's very, very good. I need to use it more. But other than that, let's move into the team fights. So here we are on our first team fight. This is a bit of a strange target call for a lot of people, but we're going to focus the Myrmidon. The thing is that Myrmidons are actually pretty squishy because you have really good uptime on them, and they can't really get away like a champion can. They don't have that third wind healing, so we're going to hop on him. I do my Devotion Divine Light combo here, get a decent Divine Light, not the greatest, but you can see a few people dip their toes in it. I get some decent pip gen, but it's not that great. Then I'm just going to really focus on keeping my Devotion up, which is my number 5 skill. You really want to keep that up. It's really, really good. Gonna pop another Divine Light there. Not the greatest. I end up getting the Templar with it, pretty nice. But look at the damage I do. Divine Light ticks, left click ticks into a 1700 execute combo. I did a ton of damage very, very quickly there. And that Divine Light ended up actually being pretty good there because they had to run back into it. So, gonna end up focusing this duelist out of that. Keep the Devotion up as always. Go for the Castigate combo. He dodges out of it, but now I'm able to build some pips on him, and then I'm going to go for the stun combo yet again here. So 2, 2, 2. Accidentally hit 2 one too many times there. Whoops. But I get the stun on him, and keep that Devotion up as always. Hit him with the Banshee Snare, and we're going to kill him. Now check out this next Divine Light. This is a very good Divine Light. Look at the healing. Look at the healing on my team. I'm hitting them for like 300 a tick healing. Very, very good. Divine Light, you can get amazing value out of that skill if you line it up right, if you get good ones. But anyway, we end up calling the team fight there. On to the next one. So, next team fight goes pretty great. We get an awesome opener here. Gonna jump in on the champ, who's our primary target. Hit him with the Divine Light. Got a triple Divine Light here. Execute combo. This champ is getting really, really screwed up. He's about half health. He jumps away. And we end up swapping to this Druid. And he's going to have to start playing defensive real quick. He's going to have to, once we get on him here again, he's going to blow his C power. And their champion gets a very good suppress, which I think hits like the whole team. So I'm suppressed, can't really do anything. Suppress wears off, jump back to the Druid, go for the stun combo. He blinks out of it, which is a pretty good play there. Gonna run my little fat ass to him, hit him with the Banshee. He blinks away, jump back to him. Now I've actually got some uptime for about 10 seconds until he blinks away yet again. But then I'm gonna have my my leap for that. So he leaps away, he blinks away, got the leap for it, and at this point I'm able to have pretty good uptime on him. Hit him with a nice execute there. He's gonna go down, and at this point we're on cleanup duty. Team is relatively healthy. Nightfire's a little bit low, but you know, we're pretty healthy here, so we're just gonna clean them up and get one more kill there, and then we call it. And the reason why we call these team fights before they're over is because there's no point in killing somebody with the armor durability if it's clearly over. And these were set up team fights, if you couldn't tell. Next fight. This is going to show how annoying the duelist is with Agent Provocateur. You see I'm snared, I'm exposed, I've got a piercing vulnerability. That is all the duelist in stealth, just screwing with me. He's actually going to hit me with a stun here, which I will not retaliate out of. There's no point in wasting it. No real pressure there. Actually, it's kind of a good thing he hit me with the stun because now I am on the CCDR. So I need to engage quickly to take advantage of that. And the Druid is actually not our original kill target, but he kind of just is in a good spot for it. We were going to go on the champion originally, but here we go. I see the Druid, and I just jump to him, hit him with the execute combo here. My Druid buddy is going to blink in and start charging up a bear. We hit him with a bear into, look at this damage, oh my god. We hit him with a bear into a pepper shot into a double execute combo, and we hit him with so much damage so fast that in order for you to actually see that last execute's damage, you're gonna have to go back and watch the video in like 0.25 speed, frame by frame. I think I hit him for like a 980 execute there, but it only shows up for about 3 or 4 frames, so it's pretty crazy. We hit him with so much damage that it bugged out the text. Anyway, on to the next team fight. This one goes pretty bad for me. I'm gonna be honest. This one's pretty sloppy. We're gonna jump on the Ranger here because Rangers do a ton of damage if you leave them alone, and they just really start focusing the hell out of me. I'm getting really disrupted, thrown around, stunned, pushed around, rooted. Horrible uptime, can't really do much. Pip starved to hell. Go for the stun combo, it gets interrupted. Oh, man, everything is just going to hell for me here. So there's tornadoes around that. Yeah, not going well. Not going too well. I believe I connect on this Druid with a little bit. No, I don't. Hit him with the blind there. I mainly do that blind for the HP buff and the immunity. I see the Ranger over there, so I'm gonna jump to him. And they're focusing the hell out of me. So luckily my team is very, very healthy here. Like, other than me, everybody is pretty healthy. So chasing the Ranger around, trying to make sure he can't just sit back and blow us up. But here is where things get interesting. I have a really nice reversal here. So chasing this Ranger around, I'm going to get stunned. Now watch this. Stunned, retail out of the stun, put down the Divine Light, and start parrying. Parry. And then the Confessor hits me with another fireball, and I parry again. And man, what a reversal that was. I do a ton of damage really, really quick right there to that enemy Templar. End up killing the Druid for the double kill. And team is super healthy. Very, very healthy. I'm on death's door, but I'm going to pick up some healing orbs, and we call the fight because it's over. So, you know, not pretty, but I survived, and, you know, they were putting a lot of effort into killing me there and disrupting me, so the team was able to really mop them up. Now, check this out. Look at this poke damage with the Druid Ranger combo. Oh, man, this is brutal. So I've got a piercing debuff on me from the duelist, Agent Provocateur, and look at this poke damage. This poke damage is brutal. I'm at 5,300 health, and we haven't even engaged. Look at the bleed, the severe bleed. So we should have pushed in aggressively and not dicked around like we did there. Luckily, I got a good Devotion Divine Light combo here. Very good Divine Light there. And you see that I'm actually going to have the Fault Finding buff fall off very quickly because I did so much healing there so quickly. and I popped my C power there, get some nice invulnerability. I should have instantly popped my 6. The second my 6 jumped up, I should have instantly popped it. I'll be honest, I just goofed. I didn't pop it fast enough. Pop it right here, but it's too little, too late. And we killed the druid, which you know, that's a trade I'll take all day. But they put a lot of effort into killing me, and my team is very healthy. We've got 3 people at full health. We've got a duelist in stealth. The champion is pretty much at full health, and Chody is really, really healthy. So you'll see here in a second when I pan the camera, they are not anywhere close to as healthy. So there's the Confessor. Chody's gonna mop him up with some help, and now it's a 3v1. We've got a duelist in stealth, so we end up calling the fight there. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this this Templar video. As always, if you're interested in Crowfall, be sure to sign up with the link down below. You'll get into the beta for free. The free beta waves, I believe, will hopefully be starting late summer, maybe early fall. That should be pretty fun. So be sure to sign up with the link in the description to get into the beta for free, as well as you get 5% off anything you decide to buy. So it's a win-win. I'll be honest, I get a little bit of a kickback from it too, but you get free shit and it's cheaper. So why not? Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again next time. Have a good one.